we meet Leo. Leo, sun sign, rising sign, and or moon sign. This is a 2-week reading for all you Leos, starting today, the 5th of December, 2023. All right, Leo, this is a deck that's feeling very shuffled. I'm going to give this deck a nice clean cut, and we're going to see what's in the cards for all you gorgeous Leos, starting today. 2 weeks, December 5th, 2023. The Lovers, the Death card, the King of Swords. There's something I don't like. It's the Queen of Swords. There's something I don't like a little bit more. It's the King of Swords. Got to talk about this guy. Let's put it into context with the rest of the reading. It's like you're being there's guidance here. This guidance of the Lovers card. Notice how they're not listening. You know, you've probably heard me talk about this, but let's talk about it again. Angel is saying right here, right here. You see, it's not pointed directly at somebody. It's not Cupid. This is an angel that is pointing its arrow at a specific solution. That's how I like to see it. And these people are looking everywhere but where the angel is pointing. So they are oblivious to their guidance, or they don't care. One or the other. Either way, they're not getting the help that they deserve. The angel's not arbitrarily trying to help them just because it doesn't have anything better to do. It's doing that. It's helping them because that's its job. And their job is to listen. And they're saying, meh. And so you don't want to be one of these people, Leo. You want to listen to that inner guidance. Now, what's going on with you is that things are ending. And some of those endings can be abrupt. And sometimes those endings can seem sad. They can seem challenging. They can seem very difficult. And so we're not discounting that at all. Not minimizing that. If you're going through any kind of pain, any kind of mourning, any kind of loss, you got to be honest with that. And nobody wants to ever, well, some people might want to. I don't ever want to minimize people's loss because you got to go through the process of it. But instead of going through the process of it and realizing the good things that are happening as this Grim Reaper goes through your life, cutting away problems and things like that as well. It's not just, it's not just so that you feel bad. There's a lot of good that's coming out of the Death card. But this King of Swords is just doubling down on arrogance and just saying, no, I want what I want when I want it. I don't like them. Off with their heads. And just being a jerk. And you don't want that part of the human personality to hook you, Leo, because it delays your progress. And a lot of why we do this when this comes up, because this is always dormant in each and every one of us. Okay, so when it gets activated, frequently it's a response to fear. Frequently it's a way to handle some sort of fearful situation so that you can give yourself a false sense of security. And a lot of these King of Swords type patterns started when we were very young, when we were children and we didn't have a voice for ourselves. We weren't allowed to say no, right? And so I remember very clearly when I was little and I couldn't say no, and people were doing things to me that they shouldn't have been doing to me, and I had no choice in that. I remember saying, when I grow up, I'm gonna never go through this again. When I grow up, I'm gonna say no all the time. And so I really nurtured the King of Swords in me, so that whenever anything looked like I might be getting threatened, King of Swords would come up, and I would just be a jerk, because that was the way that I could finally use my voice. I thought this is the way I could finally say no to what I perceived to be maybe abuse or whatever that was coming at me. So, but this is not the answer. We think it's the answer, but it's not the answer. It's just a way to delay things. It's just a way to stay stuck. It's a way to misunderstand that we believe that our ego is going to protect us. And the ego doesn't protect us. The ego does the opposite. The ego likes to make us more vulnerable. A lot of times when that King of Swords energy comes up, where you're just going to be the jerk because that's your way of protecting yourself, you actually destroy relationships. You actually make it so that people don't want to work with you. You make things happen that come back and bite you later. And then the King of Swords says, well, it's not my fault, or they deserved it, or whatever. And then what you get when you let the King of Swords rule is then you get to be right at the expense of being happy. And that's what we don't want. That's the King of Swords motto. Happy. I would rather be right than happy. I would rather be right than happy. That's the King of Swords motto. When you notice that happening, recognize that's not coming from you. That's coming from a personality facet. That's coming from a tape. That's coming from an old program that somehow you developed in your mind long ago. And when that comes up, just question it and just say, is this truly what I want to do? This is what I want to do here? I really want to, this is the only way I can get my needs met? Is this really the only way that I can feel safe? And how safe does it truly make me feel? I know in the moment I can convince myself that I'm big and powerful and tough and I can be mean or whatever. And it sometimes it doesn't come off in your mind as being mean, but I guarantee it comes off as being mean to the people that have to deal with it. Anybody that has to deal with me while King of Swords is up in my personality are not having a good day. I know that. Now, in the midst of it, I can justify myself very easily, well, they deserve it or whatever. But the truth is that it's not good. It's just not good. So just be aware when that comes up, how you're affecting people that don't have anything to do with why you're perceiving this. A lot of times, like the other day, I'm just going to give you as an example. I was talking to the poor AT&T workers always get it from me. I was so angry at something else and I had to call AT&T for some reason. And of course they were being stupid, because that's just what they do. That's just it's not the person's fault that the person wasn't being stupid, but their whole program was being stupid. And I was so angry that the King of Swords just came up and I started abusing this poor person on the phone. And then I doubled down on that, thinking to myself, well, they deserve it because blah, 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 blah. Luckily, I watched myself do that. I stopped myself in my tracks and I apologized to that person. And then I got it handled. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That person had nothing to do with the problem. They're just doing their job, right? So be careful of this. Be careful of this. It comes up. We feel very right about our behavior, and then we either regret it later, or even worse, we don't regret it later. We keep justifying it so that we can do it again and again and again, and we get unhappy. I would much rather be happy than right, tell yourself. You know what I'm going to do? I want to shuffle and cut again, just because I want it as randomized as possible. All right, Leo, let's see what else is going on here. We've got the High Priestess, we've got the Four of Coins, and we've got this wonderful Knight of Wands. So your savior is your creativity. Your savior is your creativity. Your knight in shining armor is your own creativity. When you are being creative and you are in the creative zone, King of Swords just doesn't have the power. You move out of that kingdom and into a whole new kingdom. And it's saying, please recognize that. Please recognize that Leo as a creative person is a very different Leo than Leo when Leo's working with King of Swords energy. And part of what's happening is that, like I said, this death card is taking away things that no longer serve you. Your job is to get things tidy. You see, death comes through and wreaks havoc sometimes on everything, and then you got to put the pieces back together. And when you do that, when you're able to put the pieces back together, put things back in a nice orderly fashion in your physical universe, you start realizing what a blessing this was when death came through and destroyed a few things for you. And you realize that not only did some things get removed, but some problems got removed as well. And that's another reason why the King of Swords gets activated, because the King of Swords is an extension of our own ego mind that's programmed to self-destruct. And so when problems get removed, the King of Swords says, woo, no, we need more problems. Let's replace those problems. But the King of Swords can't just come out and say, hi, I'm your ego, and we don't want you to be free of problems, so I'm going to replace some problems. So get mad now. No, it's not going to tell you that. It's going to be a lot more. It's going to be a lot more sly, because if it just came out and showed you its game, you'd say, I don't want to do that. So be aware of all the games that this King of Swords plays with you, trying to convince you that scorched earth is the way. Scorched earth is not the way. Not that it never ever has its place. Yes, it can, but then it doesn't come out as the King of Swords. If scorched earth is the way to play, it's probably the Tower or something like that. When it's the King of Swords, it's not for a good purpose. It's not for a good purpose. So be aware of that, and realize that your escape, your salvation, is your creativity and your ability to get things in order, and to listen to that inner guidance, because it knows that good is on its way. The priestess is veiled, meaning that she's pregnant with possibilities, and you don't even know what things are going to be happening. And you don't understand that a lot of this death energy was there to clear the way for all of this new manifestation, which then has to be put on hold if you allow the King of Swords to come out and start creating problems. Right? So when you notice the King of Swords, you don't necessarily, I don't advocate suppressing anger or anything like that, but just notice what it is and just ask yourself, is this what I think it is? Why am I so mad? Why am I being such a jerk? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to solve? What am I trying to protect? Now, how can I get my needs met in a more creative way? Let me ask. Let me go into my inner guidance and ask how I can get on the train of creativity rather than jerkness. And believe me, it takes one to know one. I can be a real jerk, but it doesn't help. It doesn't help. So you're going to do great. This is a very important part of your life. Things are changing in a huge way, and they really are changing for the better. But you don't want to delay that better. You don't want to delay that by being the King of Swords. It's not better to be right than happy. It's better to be happy than right. All right, Leo, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to the amazing moderators, Heather and Shirley. We will see you in 2 weeks for another reading, Leo. Blessed be.